Give it a second. Give it a second. It looks like we are live again. We missed the Titan Tuesday, but we got Johnny back with us. Look who's back there. The pups. What are you doing home?
You're right.
Are you at home? Where are you?
At home today. Yeah. I had some prior work I had to do, or meeting wise. So I was like, listen, I'm not going to be able to be on the road, so I might as well do it here at the house and then head back to the office after this. So probably get an hour or two. Peter's having another thing for his baseball thing tonight, so got to go pick him up after that. So it's just one thing after the other. It's always hectic. There's always something going on.
Well, I like how organic we have our discussions and where it kind of goes. And so there's a couple things, and you just said one of those things. Let me just clarify if people don't know. You are a workhorse, and I've talked about this last week and the week before. You're a workhorse, and you're in the trenches. Where if you owned a restaurant, you'd be just like how Mona was, where she owned the restaurant, but she would be serving plates. She would be behind the bar. She would be back there with the dishwasher. Doesn't care. It's like, no, this is my restaurant. I'll do everything.
Right.
You guys, both of you are so the same mentality. And so you do all this. How does that not get in the way of family time and taking care of your health?
Okay. All right. So obviously taking care of my health should be number one priority, because without your health, you're not doing nothing. So putting your health on the back burner, then you're going to have problems in the future. So I definitely carve that time out for health wise. That's eating correctly, trying to get sleep, and then, working out and having a physical activity, which I did my visit yesterday. The doctor said I could use 30-pound dumbbells as long as I'm sitting down. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Do triceps, biceps. I'll get 30 pounds rolling and at least be able to do something. So I'm excited about that. But family time was tough in the beginning. You're starting a business. You don't have money to pay a whole bunch of people, so you have to do all these jobs. So you have to sacrifice some of that, or at least balance it out. Tim Grover, who's one of my really good friends, he's taught me a lot of great things as far as that goes, as far as being a competitor and being a winner. And at that point, there is no such thing as balance in the beginning. You have to go in 130% and apply everything you have and just grind. At that point, for family time, obviously my son was littler. So when we started Titan, he was like 2-3 years old, which, those are important times, but he doesn't know exactly what's going on. So we were there for him as far as that goes. And he was in school. We pick him up from school after school, spend a little bit of time there and just get back to our grind. So, it's tough, but, at that point you have to put your health first, because like I said, without that, you're nothing. And then at that point, apply yourself 130%. If you want to be successful in whatever you're doing, you have to apply yourself and you have to put in the work. There's very few stories out there where people, they do one little flick of a wrist, and at that point there's somebody famous and they have all these millions of dollars, right? That's not the average person out there, and that's not how the average person gets to that point. Trust me.
Hold on, wait a minute. I just started acting class and just got these movies. I haven't been trying for 33 years to do this. It's like, but I love that. I love that you did this, and I agree with you. People have to lose the concept of balance. I think the balance for my parents is a different world balance. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't even say that, because my parents had 10 kids. Yeah, so that's a balance of, I don't know what proportion. I have one kid. It's like,
I mean, dude, to have 2 kids, 3 kids, 10 kids, that's 10 kids to love, 10 kids to clothe, 10 kids to feed, 10 kids, you're giving emotional support to and help nurture. That's a lot. It's a lot.
It's funny, because I was going to try to use that as a metaphor, that you had to, because you created your own business, you guys had to work your asses off. Yeah. And so it's cool to see where you're at now, where you get to do movie night, date night. Yes. You get to spend so much time on the field with your son as he's doing this. And it's like, well, you didn't fall into this. This has been 15 years of work getting to this point, 13, 10 years, regardless of that. You've been working towards this. But then I think about my parents. How did they both work? How's my dad a school teacher? My mom doing what she was doing and having 10 kids. And then I'm like, I think you and me are kind of lazy now that I think about them. I'm like, wait a minute. Holy cow.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of weight to bear. I mean, even for us, like Thursday date night, movie night, that was always a thing when me and Sheree started dating. So like that never went away. So after work, we left the office at 8 o'clock at night. We go see a movie. We left the office at 9 o'clock at night. Back in the day, the preview night for movies was Thursday night at midnight. So they didn't come out on Thursday during the day. Now they come out Thursday during the day. So you can go see one at 6, 7 o'clock. So we'd go to the midnight show and then wake up the next morning bright and early just to see that movie the night before and spend that time together, So I mean, you gotta have that time. The lucky thing is, and you're in the same boat as me, is that we get to work with our wives, right? Our girls, they're biased. Our queens are biased. So at that point, like, if it's a regular entrepreneur, let's say I was by myself doing this tight and I started it and Sharice was working some other job or staying home with the kids, I'm spending all these different hours in the beginning and she would probably be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm at the office working. Well, when are you going to be done working? Or, when are you going to spend time with me? So,
yeah,
I think we've been lucky in that light, because if you have a partner that's not doing the work with you or right beside you, seeing what's going on, they don't really understand to a certain degree, right? And then they get upset or they get jealous of that time that you're spending away because they, their mind starts going crazy. Like, oh, they're doing this, or he's not really working, or whatever it is. So,
but you set your life up to have that partner with you.
Yes.
Because I don't want to hear the naysayers right now go, well, see, it's easier for you because you guys work together. Well, you set it up to work together. It's not like you did this without. Other people can choose to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool thing that you do that. But I also know that you both, when you're at work, you're working.
Of course.
And yes, they're there, but you don't get that quality time of shutting that down and going to do something. And the movies is a great escape of life and pressure and all that.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome that you guys still do the date night, because I think that is something that I did for a while. We did that for a while, and then I slipped away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that should be something I put back into my weekly regimen.
Absolutely.
I really learned that last time we spent some time together. I love how you guys really prioritize your family time. You're scheduled.
Yep.
You're not just flying, hey, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and decide what to do. You're like, no, you got the schedule set.
Yes, you got to have a schedule, especially when you get busy. You'll miss out on opportunities. You'll forget about things you have planned. So it's really, Sharice is really structured with that. I'm really structured with that. She sets alarms, and every hour in the hour, so we know exactly what's going on, where we're going, what we're doing. And the next day and weeks on and months on in some cases, so forth, with events and stuff like that. Just like you, I mean, and I think that's the other key to success is writing down, structuring your day, and structuring what you need to do, having it written down so you achieve those goals too as well. Write them down, start knocking them out one by one, because that's the only way you're going to do it. You have all that stuff spread out, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do 20 different things. You're getting pulled in 20 different directions. You're never going to accomplish any of that stuff. You're going to do it half-assed. So, I always go, step 1, step 2, step 3. It's just like directions, man, making our way down till we have everything complete. And now it looks beautifully all put together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Besides your relationship and how you guys rock that, as partners, if you guys work off of each other, you energize each other, which is really cool to see. But also you guys do take your time, because your son is obviously he's in school. We know that. So everybody's but he's heavily into baseball.
Yeah.
And not so much just the practices, but there's some extracurricular. He's working with coaches outside of practice. Is that correct? Am I understanding that right?
No, for sure. So Peter's on 3 different baseball teams. He's on the high school team. He's on a travel team, which he's playing 16U, and he's 14. So he's playing with 16-year-olds instead of 14-year-olds.
Before you keep going, he turned 14 when I was there, right? Right around that time.
Yeah, June he turned 14.
Yeah. At 13 years old, can you tell everybody how tall he was?
Sure. 13 years old, he was about 6'1.5", and throwing about 80 miles an hour.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just for everybody that's watching that, because again, I put up something saying that I have to tussle with my son in 10 years, and he's projected at 6'9", and I'm like, holy sheesh.
I can see it too.
I don't want to wrestle some boy that's 6'9" with Mona's genetics. I'm gonna get my ass kicked. But I love that.
With you and her genetics together. I mean, I was looking at Titan the other day, man, in that picture you posted, and he's got 6-pack abs ready to roll already. He's already ready for social media as far as that goes.
He's already a fake natty. So it's like, it's awesome. He's already getting people talking, which I love. But you spend still, and understand he's 13, 14 now. He doesn't drive.
No.
That's another year away. So you're the one that's getting them to there.
Yeah.
Why not just the Uber and you continue to get your work or your time? Why is it important for you to be there as he's playing?
One, I wouldn't Uber him. If anything, I have like a driver, and if I can't make it or whatever it is, then I'll have him drive him. But majority of the time, I would say 90% of the time, I'm with Peter. The reason is because you're not going to get that time back with your kids, and you want to spend that time with them. You want them to be there, and you want them to think, hey, listen, my parents are supporting me in what I'm doing. And that support goes a long way. And I see kids out there who don't have any support, and they still do good. But I believe that when he looks back on things, he's going to say, my dad and mom were there supporting me, even if they're busy. And I think that will help them in development. I think it will give them confidence. And if he's doing something wrong, I can tell him right away. Put him back on track. That's how I want to be, because they're still learning. He's still learning at his age. He's got a lot going on, but he's still they're still kids to a degree, and you got to give them that guidance, and you got to give them that structure too as well. So that's what I'm there for Peter. The big thing to me was when I was working a lot in the beginning, I wasn't able to coach a team because I couldn't, give all my time there. I'd have to be, missing some games and have the assistant coach phone, whatever. So I didn't do it for the first couple of years. And the bad thing about it was this, that, there's politics in everything that you do, whether it's sports or as we get older, you know how it is. Who who knows you, who likes you.
Already there at 13, 14 years playing baseball.
So coaches would put their sons in and stuff like that. We call it daddy ball. So at that point, like, Peter came to me, he was 12 years old, and he's always been the biggest kid out there. Right? He's always been the strongest arm out there. So, he's got the athletic ability and everything, basketball, baseball, soccer, and such. But he's like, Dad, I want to play baseball no more. And dude, it killed me because I'm a big baseball guy. I play college ball and the whole nine. Like, it's a big thing to me. I played 4 years varsity in high school. So when he told me that, I was like, oh no, I can't. There's no way I'm letting this go down. I go, listen, I'm going to coach you next year. I'm going to coach you, and we're going to give it the one shot. If you don't want to play after that, that's cool. But I'll guarantee you're going to want to play. After that, he never caught ever in his life. So the first time I was like, where do you want to play? I want to catch. Man, you don't want to catch. You're going to burn out your knees. And I did that at the beginning when I was younger. It's a lot of abuse. Catch take a lot of abuse. So I was like, listen, you can catch. He ended up being the all-star catcher that year, hitting 4 home runs, throwing the high 70s at that point till the end of the year, and he started going up. And then after that, he loves baseball. Now that's his life. He's dedicated, and that's what he wants to do. So, without that, I don't know what could have happened. Maybe he would have stopped playing baseball and never want to play again. So, that almost killed me to that degree. And I'm like, listen, I was like, I'll make whatever I need to do happen to make this happen. And that's sometimes you got to sacrifice some things. And at that point, I was like, listen, I'm gonna have to turn down a little bit over here to turn up over here for him. And luckily, it all worked out. And we're still grinding every day. Just playing around that.
Let's stay with that because I was hoping it would get to this point, and that's the whole metaphor for my discussion right now. On everything you said is that you're going to have to give up a little something else. And when I talk to these people out there that want to get in shape, but the work is their life. So you're saying that, technically, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you guys could work until 6, 7 at night. You guys could stay busy at the office. Absolutely. And you could make some extra money doing that. And you could, again, but you're willing to give up a little bit here so you can be there on the field with your son, which I think when you get to my age, I really feel that it's the moments and it's the memories. And so for everybody out there listening to this, how can you tell them to step away? Because I got some buddies that are out here training at the Titan Castle right now, and these guys are workers, but they're the workers that go from 5, 6 in the morning till 11, 12 at night, get back up at 5 or 6, and they're back in it. And then their nutrition and training is great because they're around me.
Right.
But there's no recovery there. There's no real focus on that. How do you tell somebody, I get it. You want to work. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you get somewhat of a balance to where you put the health of you ahead of the rest of the stuff?
Well,
Or can you?
Yeah, you can, absolutely. Because listen, the better you feel, the more optimal your work is going to be, right? Brain function, body function. I mean, all this stuff is going to go together. So if you can look at it in that light, and that's what I would tell our patients, because you got some guys that that they're dedicated to making money. They want to make money, and that's the only thing that motivates them. That's the only thing they want to do. They want to hit the highest mountain peak, and that's it. So I tell them, like, listen, I'm like, well, if you want to get some upgrades, this is where you're going to put your body in play, right? Because if you're sleeping better, you're probably going to have better energy. You're probably going to think a lot better without having to take more stimulants or whatever they're trying to do to get them to that level to be able to keep working. So I told them, I said, listen, focus on your body. Give it an hour a day, 1 hour out of your full day to do it. And if it's sleep, give yourself an hour and a half or 2 hours to sleep a little bit longer, because at that point you're going to get the benefits the next day when you're working. So, that's the biggest thing I would tell somebody. Like, you really got to put it in perspective of what's going to make you work better. If I told you to drink this drink and it was going to make your work better, you'd probably drink the drink, right? Well, I'm telling you to exercise and eat better, and you're probably going to be working better all the way around in your job. I mean, I get guys all the time too. They have like low testosterone and they have brain fog, and then they don't have a lot of energy and stuff like that. And then when they get on treatment, all those symptoms go away and their job improves.
Yeah. See, that's
sales guys, and man, their commissions went up, and they call me like, man, what else you got?
We're ready.
Doing this.
I love that. And I think I love social media because you do get to see, I understand there's a lot of echo and everybody's copying everybody what they're saying and stuff. But the one thing I do notice is those guys that are successful, they do focus, mostly when they get at a certain age, they really focus and change it on, I need to be healthy. It's that whole, I think Buddha said that people waste time to make money, and then they try to spend the money to get time to be healthy.
Right.
I fumbled that terribly, but you get the metaphor for the understanding of it is that you're young, as my mom would say, for a short period of time, and you're old for a long time.
Yep.
Enjoy the moments, do the best you can. And I think you and I are on the same page where it's like, be a savage for as long as you possibly can. The work, you'll still be able to do it. You'll still be able to crush it. But make those moments with your significant other, the family, or yourself. I mean, when you're in great shape, sometimes you don't need that other person. You're like, I'm really happy with how I am.
Yeah.
I was just training a couple of guys, and they were in such great shape at a young age. And they're, what about girls? And they're like, I don't got time for that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focusing on me, my workouts, my health, my nutrition, my business.
Yep.
And I'm having fun doing that. I can worry about a woman later. And they're young guys, which I love seeing 20 and 30-year-olds with that mindset.
Right.
Because I'm sitting here, I'm freaking out about when my kid gets 15, 16. Oh no, these girls are going to be coming. I'm like, no, son, no. Yeah. And so it's just, I love seeing you youngsters, for anybody out there, you youngsters that are focused on making a great career for yourself and taking care of your health. Props to you that you can, FOMO, is that what it's called? Missing out? Is that what FOMO?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the young ones going, I need to go party. I need to be out at the clubs this weekend. I need to have girls after me, compared to the kids that I'm around that are health and fitness. And this is from like Arnold's sons, how focused they are on their health and fitness and work.
Right.
And women are secondary. I love that kind of focus on somebody at that age. It's not everybody fully understand. I'm just saying that it's the focus on health that you can make yourself better for anybody and everybody around you.
Absolutely. I think that's where it starts. I mean, honestly, if you can do that at a younger age, you're light years ahead of the generation that you're with. These guys, nowadays it's worse than ever. Everybody is trying to go out there. Everybody's trying to star for social media, and they got two pennies to rub together, and they ain't got the body to show either. That's what I could say, at least about some of the younger guys that are keeping themselves in shape and looking good. They at least got the body. they could turn into something if they really wanted to, you know? I mean, so at least they're working at something and not, you know, not draining their whole life. They're draining their body, you know, and they're draining their bank accounts. They ain't got nothing to show for it. So at that point, you got to be dedicated. Younger age, I mean, of course, you want to go out and have fun. And there's some time for that too as well. But it shouldn't be all the time. That should be like a treat or reward. You know, 90% of the time you're doing the right thing, doing what you need to do. You need to go blow off some steam. You're getting burnt out. All right, go have a good time. Go take a vacation by yourself on the beach, whatever you want to do. You know, because that's where I'm at. I mean, you know, screw going to the club. I want to go to the beach with my friends. You know what I'm saying? And go out there and kind of relax, get a nice suntan, and enjoy, you know, the moments. Because as you get older, you know, the money you can't take with you. You can spend it while you're here, but those memories are everything to you, man. They're gold for sure.
I'm still bummed that we didn't go on that trip with you. Looking at, and these guys will tell you that I'm not a beach sun guy, but
Yes.
looking at where you were and what you guys were doing, I would have been there in a second. That
Yeah.
was
You're
so
coming
beautiful.
this year. You're
Yeah.
coming this year, so get ready.
Done. You guys think I'm all peaking for like the Olympia or something? No, I'm peaking for the vacation here.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting in shape for that. So, with that being said, for you youngsters out there, you guys that, you know, late 20s, 30s that are really trying to focus on the health and fitness, you 40-year-olds, I know that your mindset's probably changing for a lot of people. When they hit 40, it starts to change, going, okay, I do need to take care of my health.
Right.
And I keep trying to push that to a younger age because I use me for an example. I get a lot of people saying, I love it. You give me hope to be in shape at that age. Okay, to me, that's odd, because I wouldn't be in this shape if I wasn't in this shape 20, 30 years ago.
Life, yeah.
And I wasn't training to be healthy joint wise and body wise, not just muscularity.
Right.
But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that 20, how I was when I was 20 and 30. And so it's confusing to me. How do you talk to them going, you don't just get to decide in closing in on 60 that I'm going to get in shape. How do you put the urgency to the guys that are at their 30s and go, get in shape now? Stop wasting your time. Stop trying to put that off, because we both know how short life is and how precious it is.
Absolutely. For those guys, you know, I tell them, listen, you know, if you want to look good by 40, you better start in the 30s. The earlier you start taking care of yourself and doing the right thing, the less you got to do later. So if I was going to use you for example, listen, you've been doing this 55 years, right? At this point, you look like this. If you let go, let's say right now, you could probably still look good at 60, 65 without doing weight, right? Or at least degree if you're eating correctly and stuff. So that's what I tell them. Like, listen, what you do now, you're gonna get the reward later. So at that point, start now, right? Because if you start at 40 or 50 years old and you're 30 now, how many years have you been eating like crap, not exercising? Your body's going to crap. And at that point, it's going to take you that long or maybe longer to get back to where you need to be to even be in shape. It's going to be a lot harder of a mountain to climb. So if you want an easier task, start now. You want a real harder task, you start later, and it might not even happen. You might not even get to that point in your life because we have no idea when we're going to go. I mean, we could go tomorrow. You know, you get hit by a train, a truck, the apocalypse could happen.
Yeah, it's
you know,
a buddy of mine, a dear friend. I just checked in on him yesterday because he lost his baby mama.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, I'm just checking in on you. Just want to see if you need to talk or anything. And he responded back, thank you. I thought I had another 20 or 30 years with her. And it's like, oh, and it's that realization again, right in the front of your mind that tomorrow's not promised to anyone. Nobody. So let's make the most of it today. And I don't know if there's anything that you and I can say today that will get somebody off the couch and checking their blood work and checking to see what their possibility is and get to the gym and take care of themselves. other than, man, I hope you guys appreciate your life and know that this is your one go around.
That's it.
You don't get 3 lives in this one.
That's it. We're not cats. We don't get 9 lives. You get one shot, and if you're 30, you've already used 30 years of that. So at that point, you better start now. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Don't put it off till next week. Start today. Start today. Go, and you don't have to start with like shocking training or shocking nutrition changes. Start little, and then start moving on and progressing. That's what it's all about, is progression.
I was watching some great stuff again. Social media is a blessing if you use it correctly, like anything. But I was watching a guy that was on HRT, talking about being on HRT, a basic dose, I guess a basic dose an HRT company would put you on. And he was taking his shirt off around a lot of guys that were very heavily dosed. And it wasn't much difference. Right. And it was a cool thing for him to go out there and say, hey, yes, I'm doing this, but this is all I'm taking. And I'm not that far off of these guys,
right?
And I thought that was great. And it goes back to my discussions with Lee Priest or any of the great pros that talk about it isn't this crazy gym culture that you need to do. Right. You could call up Titan Medical, find out where your blood work at, and see if there is something there. Even peptides alone can help you start living a better life and get you in better shape. And I know that you guys are very heavy into L-carnitine injectable. Is that right?
Yep. L-carnitine injectable. I mean, pretty much all the amino acids and vitamin injectables we do. Weight loss, semaglutide, tirzepatide have been game changers for patients, and helping them too. So some people, they don't understand, or they can't do it, I guess, of how to really self-control themselves in their eating habits. It's a big one. So some people are stress eaters. Some people just like to eat. And that's what happens. So at that point, those medications, they curb the appetite. So it actually teaches somebody, or it could, if they use it as a tool, to eat better food sources and smaller portions of foods. So it would train them. And if you do that for so long and you get into a good habit, I think it's 21 days, you do something consistently, you get into a habit of that. Whether it's putting on a seatbelt, stopping smoking, drinking water, whatever it is.
I love that you said the seatbelt because I'm one of those era. I'm a Gen X. Is that what I am?
Yeah,
I'm a Gen X, and so I was the guy. We didn't have to wear helmets on the motorcycles. We didn't have to wear seatbelts. Yeah. We were in the back of the pickup trucks dancing, but it was that 21 days of putting the seatbelt on when that law came in, and it was triggered to it. And it is such an amazing thing when you do create a habit that it's so concrete in that foundation of who you are that could possibly set you guys up out there to win in life. And so it just goes back to the point of what he's saying is, if you can find out where you're at and what you want in life, I think Titan Medical and me here could help you guys if you guys are interested in changing your lives and getting in the best shape of your life, and healthiest.
Yes, that's key.
The healthiest you've ever been in your life.
That's key, because you can look aesthetically pleasing on the outside, but still be bad on the inside. So yeah, health is number one priority, inside to out. Yeah, for sure, 100%. I mean,
that being said, what's the next step for you now with your training and recovery? Because I know that we talked a little bit last week, and it's been a week now with your new protocol of complete recovery. This whole I like to think of it as like Wolverine, like you're recovering within every 24 hours, you wake up a little bit better.
I honestly, I have been. It wasn't a bad surgery, thank God. I've had bilateral hernia surgery before with mesh, and this wasn't that. It was umbilical, thank God. But I started incorporating some different things that I haven't done. One was IGF-1. I'm on an HRT dose. I started doing Selenk, MOT-C. And I'm probably going to start one more other therapy here very shortly. But I don't want to bring it out yet, but okay. I'm probably going to bring one more out.
But besides that, you're eating correctly.
Oh yeah.
You're trying to sleep correctly.
Yes. Eating, sleeping. And then now Dr. said I can do 30 pounds of training to some sort. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start incorporating every single day. I'm going to do as much as I possibly can without hurting myself.
So how do you measure that then? How do you measure? Because I get a lot of people asking me, we ironically, we just got a guy peaked out, and today was his shoot day.
Okay.
And we took him off season for 2 years. Great patience,
Yep.
because that's where you grow. And then we diced him down this last 4 months, and he looked like a different person.
Yeah.
A different person.
Yeah.
And he's going now on a trip, celebrate. And I said, train it. I would recommend taking a week off of training, but train at 50% if you're going to train.
Mm-hmm.
How do you monetize, or how do you do that? How do you go, I just need to get back in there. I need to go 100% now that I had the operation, compared to you going, I need to do the best I can without hurting myself. What can you tell them, I guess?
Yeah, obviously this is not my first surgery, so I've had to come back from one of these hernia surgeries before, and other surgeries I've had done. So at that point, what I do is I go in there, and I know I create the mindset. I'm not going to be going back at 100%. So when I left the gym and what I was doing then is not going to work for me now. So now I know exactly the weight limit that I have. So it's 30 pounds. So I'll probably use the pyramid as far as a protocol. I'm going up 10, 15, 20 to 30 pounds, do 4 sets. 4 sets and reps of probably about 10 to 12 each. And that's it. I'm going to start working on whatever I can. So when the doctor told me I could do biceps and triceps, that's what I'm going to work on. I'm not going to do this.
What's the mindset then? Because let's say hypothetically you go in and you do that and you feel, let's just say it, you feel like, okay, that's a joke. That's so easy. I feel really healthy. How do you still control the urge not to push it?
Because I don't want to go back underneath the knife.
So common sense.
It's a mind thing. Like, hey, listen, don't be stupid. If this happens, then this is going to happen. Every reaction has a chain reaction. So when you do something, something else is going to happen. So if I push too hard one time, I go up one time and I burst this hernia, and he told me, because I talked to the doctor saying, usually a hernia surgery is like really small. Like that's a hernia tear. Mine was this big. So he actually had to go higher and lower when he was hurting. So I know this now. I'm like, all right, well, I don't want this ever to happen again. So at that point, I'm going to be smart about things and go in there and train to what I can until the 6 weeks and he hits the button. Then when he hits that button, in my mind, it's flicked on like, all right, it's go time to really start getting back in there and start cranking, because I only got like 2 or 3 weeks to Olympia. So I'm going to see what I can do in 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, listen, as far as holding my body fat down, eating right, and being lean right now, that's a joke for me. That's an everyday thing. Like eating correctly and all that's fun to me. So if you find meals that work for you, that are good for you, stick with them and you'll be good. But the lifting portion after that, I don't think I'm going to have any problems, and just probably missing strength a little bit from when I go back, because obviously not training it for 6 weeks, strength might be down. But, getting back in there and just trying to hit it as hard as possible for those 2 or 3 weeks that I'm cleared, just being a maniac, and then being consistent afterwards. I think that's,
so you got a great patience. You got so much common sense. I just wish everybody it'd be that easy to talk to, because I have this discussion with people and they ask, it's like, hey, I had an injury, knee, back, whatever it is. And so I want to get back to my PR strength here in the next 12 weeks. And that statement alone, I'm already tuned out.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing, it's like, oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you can just go straight from Cracker Jack getting put together again to your PR in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. We're asking for more injuries and further downtime with something like that, for sure.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you can come back and you get better. And I wish more people would listen to people talk about PR strength. It's like Ed Cohen, when you listen to him, he talks about, like, if you can just PR 3 times in a year, if you can just go up that little bit 3 times in a whole year, you're golden.
Yeah.
Or 2 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wish more people would look at that and go, oh, instead of I need to PR almost every workout,
right,
7 days a week, I got a PR. And it's like, holy cow, it doesn't work that way.
No, definitely not.
And I tried to explain to people that if you do slow down a little bit, like you're doing, it heals. You're going to be able to come back and surpass.
Right.
But it's just that patience. And again, weightlifting, I believe, is a delayed gratification. And you said it. It's like, if you start training at 30, you'll benefit when you're 40. If you start at 40, you'll benefit at 50, and so on and so forth. But you just got to start and be patient in the transitions.
It's key. And like I said, I've already been through this. So in 2011, I had the biungual hernia surgery. Couldn't work out for 12 weeks at that point. And when I went back, man, you're devastated. You're like, damn, like I've lost all my hard work, all my gains, and then you got to start from basically that's where you think it's zero. But you got to start there. And then, listen, best shape of my life I got into afterwards. So I know I can do it. I mean, I'm a little bit older now, so it might take a little bit longer, but I got the best therapies around. So I might expedite that too as well, because I didn't have those back then. So, I'm interested to see how it goes. But, if you want to look at somebody as a prime example in the bodybuilding world, I love him to death, but look at Ronnie Coleman. I mean, guy would have back surgeries and go right back in the gym and do PRs. And then look at him now, right? And he's hurting. He's hurting for sure. So he's a good dude. Heart of a lion, train like a true Titan soldier for sure, I would put it. But could he have let some time in between and rest and relax a little bit and maybe recovered a little bit better? Possibly, and that could have helped him maybe in the long run now. So, when I see him, and I see him down at Metroflex, like he came for the grand opening in Tampa probably like 3 months ago, and I hung out with him a little bit and talked with him. And it's just, the guy's got so much knowledge. He's been to the ultimate top level of Olympia, at that point, and he's done a lot. But, I think his quality of life has definitely taken a hit with he sacrificed what he did.
I think, it's a rare breed, that man, because he has, like you said, that's a Titan mentality. He's so, reminds me of Christmas. He's always happy. He's always up. He's so appreciative to his life. And he wouldn't change much. And so looking at that, I'm like, I love it. I wish more people would have that spirit, along with the patience of taking your time, and not giving up. I do love the fact of what can we take? We can take that you don't give up. You get back in the gym, you start working slowly, and you get healthy. And then I'd recommend this for anybody that's on here today. If you have something going on, a shoulder, a back, a knee, and you saw a doctor and they're like, well, it's right now, no surgery, go over and follow John and the Titan Medical and ask those deep questions and DM those questions over there, because of what they're finding out about peptides and how well peptides help. We got a link up here for you guys. You can just click on that link and you guys can head on over to Titan Medical, send a DM and give them a list, man. I know that Johnny answers a lot of these things himself, but ask those questions. If you got a shoulder, if you got something, and I'll tell you this, a lot of the guys that I've sent over there already, WWE wrestlers, NWA guys, all these guys is like shoulders, knees, back, and you guys are helping them with these peptides that are unreal, and also helping them with HRT as well, making sure that their hormones are correct. They're changing lives, which I absolutely love. But I think, again, you don't stop working out and staying healthy because you lose muscle.
Right.
You stop because you're in pain, the shoulders, the knees, the back. And so let's keep that away as long as we possibly can. And make the call, make the question, ask the questions that you guys need to ask. And even if you're seeing a doctor, ask the doctor for referral. Come on down there. Can I ask you a question about that? How does that work? If somebody wants to get, hypothetically, blood work and they live in Tennessee or North Carolina, but they want to work with Titan Medical, do they have to fly to Florida to get their blood work?
No, they don't. So all they have to do is call or text. We can service your blood work anywhere in the country. All you have to do is call or text us. We're going to get some demographics. We'll get the payment for the blood work. We send you over the prepaid lab requisition slip. And all you have to do is take that slip in with your driver's license or state ID. You don't have to give them any further payment. You don't have to show them an insurance card. They're going to draw your blood, and we'll get the results expedited in 3 to 4 business days, so you have them quick.
So just so I understand this, it's similar to then I didn't get special treatment. I and Mona went over. We received the letter from you guys. We went over to a place 5 minutes from my house here in Los Angeles, California, and we did the blood work there.
Yep.
And we left in 5 days. If that later, we got a call from you guys at Titan Medical talking to us about setting up a phone call with a professional to go over the blood work. So that's for everybody?
Yeah, so anybody can do that. So once we get their blood work results back, what happens is the medical assistant will contact you. She'll give you a little brief over your labs and then ask you, do you want to set up a medical consultation with a medical provider? So when you set the medical consultation, it's actually a video consultation that is recorded. So you see the provider sees you, and then they start going over everything. So if you do that and go through with the medical consultation, you'll fill out new patient paperwork, which is about 15 sheets. It's going to go over all your symptoms, your goals, your health history, your family health history. So it'll give all that information to the provider. They'll go over all that information with you, plus your blood work in depth, and then give you personalized suggestions for your regimen and what would work best for you, what you would need out of 1, 2, or 3. And if you want to do anything else goal wise, then they'll go over those things.
Could you tell me just 2 things then real quick? I have a pretty busy schedule. If hypothetically I say I need to do a phone call at this time, can you schedule when you could receive the phone calls?
Sure. So what we do is we have a scheduling department. So when that medical assistant gets you on the phone and goes over your blood work, we'll say, listen, this is what we have open, and then you can pick from any of those times, whether it's 9:30 in the morning a.m. Eastern Standard Time till 6 p.m. or I think if they do 5, they cut off at 5. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we can work you in any of the mix of those days and times. So you tell us what works best for you, and we'll plug you in for that spot.
I love that. I know that I like to think I'm the busiest guy in the world, but I'm not. But I know people have always a scheduling problem and stuff. And I think it's great that you guys can actually schedule the time that way, no matter what. I mean, I want to hear what the result is. I'll make time for that, and I'll fit that into the schedule to where I can sit down for 30 to 45 minutes or an hour, or whatever that is, to do that, which is perfect. It's kind of like there's no excuse. I don't need to fly there. I can schedule the phone call when I want. One more question. I love the fact that you stated I get to visually see this individual. And the only reason why is because I've had these talks before where I couldn't see the individual. And it sounded like a prepubescent kid that worked at GNC or something. Yeah. And he's talking to me. And I'm like, I kind of want to see who this individual is that I'm talking to.
You should be able to create that patient-doctor or provider relationship. And what constitutes that is them seeing you and you seeing them. It'd be just like an in-person visit. That's how it is. You see them, they see you. And instead of guessing that, I stay away from the phone call thing when I tell people because they think they're going to be like this with somebody. When I say a video conference, that means that we're going to be like this to somebody. So at that point, it's a big difference because there are places out there they have somebody get on the phone. And how do you know who this is on the phone that you're talking to? So you cannot create, if they put a lineup up in front of you after you talk to that person, you couldn't guess what that person looked like in a lineup. So that's wrong. So that's not how you establish a patient medical provider relationship. And honestly, it's not even legal to do like that. So they're not doing what they should be doing. And they should be doing it like we're doing it. That's how you do it. It keeps recorded. It's recorded as well. So listen, there's a discrepancy in there, right? Patient calls me up or I want to quality check the visit of the provider, which I do often to make sure that, they're getting the top quality standard of Titan Medical Center, what we should be doing. But if there's discrepancy, we can go back in there and look at it and say, hey, listen, this was off, or hey, my provider, why didn't you mention this to the patient? Why didn't you go over this? This is something we need to work on. So it's a tool to help us be better. And it's also there to protect the patient and the provider.
All right. Before I answer this question in time, I would like to know your professional providers. I would love to know the background on what they have to do schooling wise and stuff to be able to do this discussion. But or we'll talk at that another time.
Okay.
Someone here says, can anyone go to Titan Medical?
That's correct. Yes. Anybody can go to Titan Medical. As long as we take 21 to 59 years old, 60. If you're over 60 years old, you would have to do a couple more different things as far as testing for us. We do require like an EKG and stuff like that, just to make sure the person's healthy. We don't accept anybody underneath 21 years old because at that point, I still got 30 or 40-year-old guys that are living with their mom. Their mom's still paying their bill for their HRT and stuff like that. So I don't want I've had
That's
moms.
the bodybuilding lifestyle. You just said, you just named everybody at Gold's Gym Venice. Everybody's, holy cow. Everybody over there. I'm sorry about that, Jeff.
I don't care.
They're all laughing over here.
I have had moms call me up and be like, do you have my son on testosterone? I'm like, whoa, first off, I can't even talk to you because you're not on the medical release. So
oh boy. I love that, man. No, I appreciate you guys again, man, taking time like this. There might be a chance that you and me jump on again, maybe later this week for any kind of special news that's going down. But I wanted to jump on today, just kind of go over all this. And again, don't need to fly there. You get your blood work. You can schedule your phone calls. Yep. Again, to me, I've had fun this last couple of years of doing the blood work and really seeing how I can enhance my longevity already by understanding more on my own hormones as we age. And in a perfect world, I wish we didn't age, but we do. It does not mean that we got to stay out of the ring. We can still get in the arena and fight and still do this. And by having good blood work, training smart, eating correctly, you're set to still be that gladiator.
Absolutely, 100%. And look better than some of these 20 or 30-year-olds out there. I mean,
Titan lifestyle, right?
You got it. Man, you're 20 or 30 years old, man. And somebody that's 40, 50 years old is beating you out look-wise. That should be your motivation. I better get my ass in there. And don't be saying, oh, it's because he's on steroids. That's the weakest excuse I've seen from somebody out there. Like, all right, yeah, people can take steroids and they can take anabolics. And at that point, they won't grow an inch unless they put in the work and they're doing what they need to do. So,
yeah,
I
think that philosophy is over with and everybody understands. Let's try to keep as healthy as we possibly can. Before you go, I see some great questions here, huh, Jeff? Go for that.
Love you guys. Love the info. Low back, knees, right shoulder, kidney, mass. Praying to keep on track. Love info on injuries. How do you get on a good sleep schedule? I have ADHD and overthink. Thanks.
You see that one, Johnny?
Sure, I do. You want to go at it?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, obviously, you're loving the injury talks. And if you have bad back, knee, shoulder, BBC 157 TB500 is going to be great. But the main question says, how do I get on a good sleep schedule? Because you have ADHD and you overthink. So when we talk about people in sleeping patterns, usually have two people that are out there, two types. One person can't turn off the wheels at night, right? Just keeps going. The other person wakes up hour on and hour off. So they go to bed fine, but they wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and they get up and they stay up for 2 hours and they go back to bed and they get back up. So there's a couple different things you can do for this. Now we have some different therapies that you can get. The sleep schedule is like anything else. It's like you have to set it and you have to start trying to do it. So if you start your sleep schedule and you say, listen, I want to go to bed at 9 o'clock every night, you have to start preparing yourself to go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. That means don't do any electronics an hour beforehand. Don't watch TV. Don't go on your cell phone. Don't do anything that's going to stimulate your mind. Don't do work or anything like that. Don't fight with your girlfriend, wife, whatever it is. That's going to stimulate you. So one, that's the thing. Two, stay away from stimulants. If you're going to go, you can't go to sleep at night and you're taking stimulants 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's probably going to affect your sleep patterns. Once you can get into a good sleep pattern, you start setting those sleep times and it's not working for you, there's a couple different things you can add in. One, we have like Titan Serenity, which has like L-theanine, which is an amino acid that relaxes you. Another one's magnesium. It relaxes you too as well. There's a couple other ones out there. There's another peptide therapy that I can get from one pharmacy. It's called DSIP, which is Delta Sleep Inducing Peptide. It's another peptide. It's great for it. GABA is another one. So there's a couple different things that you could take that could help you get over the overthinking and relaxing the mind and the body. And then at that point, going to sleep and then setting that pattern every day and then doing it every day too as well. That's the biggest thing. They say that sleep patterns can get messed up by somebody that Monday through Friday, they go to bed at a certain time, they wake up at a certain time every Monday through Friday. But on Saturday, they want to go out, they party till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and they don't go to bed, and now their sleep patterns are messed up again, their sleep cycle. So, and not to say you can't go out and have a good time one night and stay up a little bit later, but you have to, think about this stuff, and it has to be cognizant that listen, if I do this, that this could be messing up my sleep schedule. I'm going to get back on track. And that's what you have to do. Sunday, you get back on track. And then Monday, hopefully you're back in that sleep cycle. So that's what I've done. And listen, it's harder for me because, especially now, it's like I got to wake Peter up at 5:30 in the morning, make sure he's out. And I'm not going to bed till like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So I'm not getting the sleep that I need in recovery, which will slow down my healing process. So I have to get that too as well. So that's the best thing I can say about it.
I want to bring up one question on this. He did say kidney mass, and that's not something that I would speak about. I would say go see a doctor.
Yeah, you're going to want to do a CT scan, MRI on it to see what's going on as far as that goes, and why does a kidney have a mass? Because a mass to me means, like a tumor or something like that on there.
And I agree with everything else you said. I know the blue screens at night or something like that, or is chill, get done with it. A buddy of mine just said, what did he call it? A stress book? What did Stan call it? Some kind of like a journal at night, a stress journal, they called it. I was like, well, that's an interesting terminology for it. But write down your stress journal about what happened today and what you want to do and how you want to change things.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a clever name.
I like that. And that would probably be a good one too. The juice stressor. Some people are very stressed, and that's what keeps them up at night.
And the big thing is like you said at the beginning of this discussion, you talked about how writing it down, and I believe seeing your thoughts really does change your perspective on things. So write down the goals, write down your things, write down your stresses. I love that. Jeffrey, you got anything else here? Again, guys, the link here is on the page. If you want to send a DM over Titan Medical, I recommend you do it. Ask some questions, whatever questions you have. That's the link right there for you guys to head on over there and start asking them. Bug them. Go ahead and bug them, man.
Please.
At this point, what do you got to lose? Find out, just like he did, the gentleman just there, with all the things that's going on in his life. Got great answers there. Sleep.
Thank you for making testing and appointments so simple. My husband was diagnosed with low test. It's at 145 at 52 years young and fatty liver. He's on the up and up with CRP and liver defects. Wow.
So here is a Titan Medical success. And I actually know Mary and her husband, and props to going in there, checking out and seeing what's going on.
I can't wait, because when I see fatty liver, general practitioners always diagnose fatty livers. I mean, left and right. It's because people's diets or supplementation or too much alcohol or acetaminophen, whatever it is. But when I see that, I'm like, listen, I know we can fix that. Like those two things, testosterone, liver, yeah, man, for sure. I mean, I wish I had something as good for the kidneys as I had for liver. Because the kidneys are definitely an issue with a lot of people. A lot of people are in, kidney disease stages that they have no idea that they're even in. It's something that I'm trying to work on to find something that could really rejuvenate kidneys. Because
at what age should you hypothetically start checking kidneys and liver? It should not have a problem if you're checking blood work and everything looks good.
Yeah. It's usually when you run, when you go to any general practitioner, they usually run a CMP. It's a comprehensive metabolic panel that covers like liver, kidneys, electrolytes, and such. So those will usually be covered on there. And then when you start looking at, kidney disease and stuff like that, when you start getting in the 50s, you start getting into that range of kidney disease. So that's something that we always look for our patients to make sure, hey, listen. And that can be affected by a couple of different things, right? So if you get a blood test and you're below 60 and your EGFR, that's what it would say on your blood test in the comprehensive metabolic panel. But if your EGFR is low, right, at that point, that could be affected by a couple of different things. It could be affected by dehydration, so if you don't drink a lot of water and such, if you're breaking down a lot of protein, like a massive amounts of protein, this could do this. Even if you're working out very hard the day before you go do the blood test, it could affect those numbers. So that's what I say to people, like, listen, don't train real hard the day before. Make sure you're drinking an abundance of water so you're really hydrated, so these levels come back good. Because they can be affected by those. And it can change.
I've never heard the I think that's great. The take the day off before you train. So you can see if it is that break. Yeah, that's a smart concept.
That's what we do. That's what we tell people. So, that's a big one for people out there. And you need those things. Liver, you only have one of, but kidneys you have two of. But usually the thing with kidneys, even if you have two of them, when they start going down, they both go down. It's not just one or the other. It sucks that you couldn't just say, hey, all right, my one's bad. All right, let's take this one out. And I still have one that's going to be able to keep me going. So that's definitely something. And I'm dealing with that personally. Like my dad's in stage 4 kidney disease. Nobody diagnosed him. Titan Medical had to diagnose him and with type 2 diabetes, because no other doctor ran these tests on him, or when they did run them, they told him, "Oh, everything looks okay. Don't worry about it."
I don't want to go into this today too much, but we'll do it maybe Friday. It frustrates me just because I'm at that age where I'm not the guy that's going all to the weddings. I'm the age where I'm going all to funerals,
Right.
which sucks, but it's reality of life. And I get my friends that give me calls and say exactly what you just said. Hey, guess what? I have this. This is going on.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait a minute. That's something that's so easily taken care of. Nothing's easy. I get that, but it's something that is preventable.
Yep.
How did this not get discovered earlier? And a lot of the response is my family doctor said the numbers were fine. Don't worry about it. And it's like, oh, that crushes my soul.
Me too, man. Trust me. Whether and before I was in this, obviously Sharice has been in the healthcare field for about 17 years now. And, for me, I was like, all right, cool. When I went into the doctor before I knew her, you trust what the doctor says. You have
100%
blind faith. They've been doing this. They're the specialist. Hey, doc, what do I need to do? And then you listen to them 100%. And you're like, all right, cool. And when they tell you, like, you're healthy as a horse, you're like, all right, cool, I'm healthy as a horse. I go, I'm healthy as a horse. Ha, ha, ha. But they don't really, don't ever, I don't see any doctors do this, general practitioners, because they ain't got the time. They don't go in depth with the blood work. Like, hey, listen, this is your kidney functions. Your kidney functions are not looking good, or they're very on the borderline. We need to start doing something about this. If it's the number's okay and it's 1 point okay, you're fine. You're good to go. That's not right. And people don't have the education and the knowledge that the doctors have. And that's one thing that I want to try to bring out to people is like, listen, you guys can learn this stuff, especially looking at some of these tests. You might not know all the tests, but if you know the general basics, what to look for in your kidney, what to look for your liver, and some of these different panels, you'll be way far ahead of everybody else. And at that point, you'll have some understanding of what's going on in your body. It's like anything else. Like, you want to know how your car runs. You want to know all the gauges and how everything works in there. Well, that's how you should know how your body is too. And you should start taking some interest in it if you don't have interest in it, because it's only going to benefit you.
And unlike the car is going to give you a signal that something's off. You really have to listen to your body to catch a lot of stuff early. And there's some things you can't catch and you don't feel until it's too late. And so that's another reason just to be smart with going in and getting your blood work. Again, like you said earlier, I don't have to be there in Florida to get my blood work. I could drive down here 5 minutes. I can schedule my phone calls. The blood work that you're going to do is going to roughly cover everything that you guys are going to cover in my body to make sure that I'm functioning at the most optimal level, which I love. I got nothing else. I got nothing else today, kid. You crushed. I'm sorry for keeping you so long today.
Don't apologize. I love doing these with you guys, Mike. I love it. I love it, man. It's absolutely awesome. Anybody we can help out there. If we can help one person, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, I love it, man. As many people we can help, I'm good for it. I always got the time for that.
I think we do. I'm going to finish this with just saying, everybody, please feel free to ask questions. Send over to Titan Medical. Again, the link is here. Titan's here. Everybody's home from school.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, buddy.
What's up, Titan?
Up.
Hi.
Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Mona.
Hi. We just
I love it. This makes my heart warm.
Oh, thank you.
Mwah.
Look at all the kisses.
Oh, kisses everywhere. I love it. Do you want to ask any questions, or are you going to read to Big Johnny?
How you doing, Titan?
Say hi, Mr. John.
How you doing? Good.
You good?
Say, where's Peter?
Where's Peter?
Oh
Yes,
man,
sir.
that's cool still.
Yeah.
He's studying where you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Johnny, thank you so much, man. And I love it. And then let's plan for a little phone call live on Friday if we can.
Let's do it.
And kind of give them some updated news.
I'm excited. Definitely excited. Can't wait.
I love it, man. Johnny, thank you again, brother. Give
Thank
mama
you.
my best.
I definitely will. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your day.
Bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Guys, jump on over, link right here, send a DM, bug them with all your questions right now. Again, they're the experts here. And so I'm not the guy you should be asking this stuff to. Really take advantage of having them and talk to these guys. I'm going to go take care of Titan and Mona right now. You guys enjoy the day. Much love.